All right. Well, Kufar Akbar, everybody, welcome to another edition of the Cross and the Crescent discussion group. This is a live stream program dedicated to rightly dividing the truth between Christianity and Islam. We're here every Sunday at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. And I know last week I said we ain't having a show this week. I announced it last week that there would not be a show this week, but
because you're a Kufar liar.
Kaffir plans were laid to waste by the Queen. We were talking last night about going to the Titans game, and I said, "Well, what time are we leaving tomorrow?" And she's, "What do you mean we?" I said, "I'm not going." She said, "Oh, I guess not." So I guess all these plans were for her, my son, my two of my grandsons, my granddaughter, and they all got to take a friend. So I got to stay home today. And you know what I did? I took a nice long nap when I got home, and it was from church, and it was a nice, peaceful afternoon. Welcome to the show, everybody. So this is kind of, like I said, this is kind of like an impromptu show. We really didn't have like a theme today, but there were some things that, during the week I've gotten into this habit of every time I see an article or video clip, I email it to myself. And there's a couple of them that I saw that I want to play that I thought, you might enjoy. And Rad has a couple that he said that he wanted to play. And we probably won't go the full 2 hours today, depending on how lively the discussion is or is not. But next Sunday, for sure, being Christmas Eve, we will not be having a show. And the following Sunday is New Year's Eve. So I'm guessing we won't have a show either. So for the next 2 weeks, we will not be having a show on Sunday. However, look for a possible show. Excuse me. Some other time. Maybe next Saturday or Friday, or maybe even during the week. So just keep your eye peeled for the notifications. If you have not subscribed, or if you not rang the bell and got those notifications, now would be a great time to go ahead and do that. I wanted to give a shout out to Dragon. Now, Dragon, we're in the Skype network, the Skype. Well, anyway, a whole bunch of us are in this Skype thread, and we all can opine and contribute to it. And every day, she's always sending out something positive, a blessing for this, something to look forward to that. And today she sent out a link to a video that discussed the tomb of Christ. And I clicked on it and I watched it. It's a very interesting video. if you ever are interested in, looking at, okay, where is Calvary current, or is it in relationship to Jerusalem today? Where is the tomb? It's all right there in the Church of the Holy Sepulchre.
How long is the video? Because I missed it. Because I had to mute it. Just to let you know, because she lives like somewhere like in Europe, and evidently they're not on real people time, which is Central American people time. So she like sends out stuff, and like it wakes me up at 4 o'clock in the morning. But no, I was just gonna say.
Okay, hey, Rad. Oh, hold on. Let me
I was
show
gonna say,
you.
why don't we play it? What?
No, let me show you something here. On your speakers, there's this knob here, and if you turn it a certain way,
No,
you can turn them off, and then at night it doesn't make a sound.
no. I listen to.
Morning,
I
you can
no no
turn it
no.
back,
I
turn it.
listen to like Star Trek Enterprise or Deep Space therapeutic noise in my headphones. It actually helps me sleep because it tunes out the screaming and the break-ins and the gunfire outside of Chicago. Okay, outside of my room.
Okay.
I've showed you some of those videos, right? Okay, so I listen to that deep space noise. You know what I mean? The sleep therapy stuff. So I listen to that, and all of a sudden, at like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, I get ping, ping, ping. I'm like, whoa, get the shotgun. What's going on? And you know,
Yeah.
so yeah, so no, so I had to mute the whole thing so I don't get the I keep forgetting to unmute it. But anyway, if you want to play the video, I say play the video, dude.
No,
You
no.
know?
This I only got. I misspoke. I was about
Uh,
3 minutes into it. It's actually a 27 minute.
uh,
So anyway,
okay.
and plus it provides two different types of scenarios. One is the garden tomb, and the other one is the tomb that's located in the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. I was at I
Oh,
had to
Dragon. Well, hold on. Hold
brag
on.
again. And when we were in Israel, we got to go to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, and we're able to. I was not able to. We did not go into the tomb sarcophagus thing that they have there for it because the line was a mile long, and I wasn't just gonna go in there and go and then move on. But now I look back at it, I kind of wish I would have. I tell you, the next time that the Queen and I do go, we were going to go during off season because there's just so much to see there and experience, and that's one of those lifetime moments that you have to do. Okay, what were you going to say, Red? I'm sorry.
I was gonna say Dragon. No, I'm just funning you. But no, you have woke me up. I mean, with the things. But it's my fault. I just got to mute the conversation and forget to
Well,
unmute
when
it.
I get up,
But no.
in the morning. Every time I see something, I
Oh,
always
he
mute
does too.
Red
No,
because
you're another culprit. I had to mute you too. The hell? 4 o'clock in the morning. Ding, ding, ding.
I'm like, oh,
He's actually worse than no. I'm like, dude, what? It's dude.
Yeah, that's
Anyway.
and everybody, I always get asked that, why do you get up so early? And it's just it's just kind of this habit that you develop over an army career. In the army, you have first formation is at 6 o'clock, which means that you have to leave the house at 5 o'clock, which means that you have to be out of bed by 4:30 or depending on the traffic or where you're living at the time.
Don't
So
they have night shift, man, or second shift
they
in
do,
Army?
but what I'm saying is, once you get up, that's when you're like a Joe. When you're down there at
Okay.
the Sergeant E5, E6, or E6, is where desk sergeant or patrol soup. But once you make the platoon sergeant or above, where I spent the last half of my career, you don't do that. I mean, it's just kind of a normal cycle, and this is what you have to, you just kind of develop into, and then it's okay. But what I'll try to do for now on, Rad, is to not Skype you so early in the morning. I'll wait until 5 or maybe
5:30. How's 5:30, sir? Because that's actually when I do get up.
okay.
5:30. Okay. Not like I mean, like, dude, seriously, I gotta go back to bed. Bad
Sorry.
enough. I'm old. I gotta wake up at 3. Anyway.
All right, let's
But
get rolling with the show. We got I got a couple clips here that I want to play. I want to start off with this one. It's by an Islamic scholar, and when we say Islamic scholar, we all know what that means. That means that this is somebody that Muslims generally respect. They're authoritative. They have some form of training. and they provide all kinds of opinions for everybody to follow. So this one is off of memory. Let me see if I can get this started here. Of course, an error has occurred because my system crashed before I came, and I just hit reset everything, and when everything resets, let's do it again. Present screen, present. Sorry. Here we go. Right there. All right. New York scholar.
Muslims, the atrocities that have been committed by the Zionist movement, the Bani Sohyon.
Okay, so let's just take this apart here. The atrocities committed by the Zionist movement. The atrocities committed by the Zionist movement. What he's referring to, of course, is the Israeli military operations that are going on in Gaza right now. And he's calling them atrocities. When we start hearing this type of language, like atrocity, genocide, apartheid, these are the common words that these Quranimals, these people parading themselves as scholars, are using to try to gin up hatred within the masses towards the Jews. So this is the language of an anti-Semitic pig right here. So let's make sure we understand what the type of language that they're using. And notice he uses the word Zionists. Zionist is a Jew that wants to return to their homeland. Kind of like the Palestinians want to return to their so-called homeland that never existed. All right, let's keep going here.
And they are Bani Sohyon. And they are not associated in any way as being Ahlul Kitab or Jews.
Okay, so what he's saying now. Notice what he's. So he's saying these people, since they don't look like Semitic people, they're not real Jews. Not only is he an anti-Semitic pig, but he's also a racist pig at the same time. Oh, and let me get my pigs back up here too.
Because they came to that land and they're all foreigners. And they came from different parts of the world. And they look nothing like Bani Israel.
Okay, so again, here you have.
Like Bani.
They don't. Okay, so here you have again. They don't look anything like. They don't look anything like Semitic people. He's talking about the people from that are mainly immigrants from the European continent. Notice that it's always focused on the immigrants from the European continent. Always focused on them. Why? Because they're white people. And so when you say, oh, white people, then we got to talk about colonialism, where we talk about how the Europeans went out and colonized. This is the type of tone that they desperately want to set. The problem is that he's an historical literate. The majority of the people that emigrated to Israel at its foundation were not from Europe. The majority of the people that immigrated to Israel after its foundation from North Africa and other Arab countries. And the reason why...
Iraq was 50,000, dude.
Yeah.
Iraq, they expelled 50,000 roughly or so.
And why did
but here's the thing.
Why did they go? Why did they have to emigrate to Israel?
Because the Iraqis threw them out. Dude.
That's right. They were thrown out. They were exiled from their own countries. This man would have preferred that they would have just been killed. This is what anti-Semitism looks like. Go ahead.
No, so here's the thing with this. So, first of all, he's deciding, okay, this is extremely racism, okay, at its finest. Hold on, let me do this right here. Hold on. Well, yeah,
I'd like to say something too.
Phenotypical. What do you mean? Well, you're using PhD words on me. I speak only one language, and that's bad American. I don't speak
let me
English.
explain.
I speak bad American.
So, well, I'll explain what a phenotype is. A phenotype are like your physical features. So, like what your nose shape is, your eyes, All of that stuff is how you present. And my position also is, if you're going to say that you have European Jewry, there are a lot of Palestinians who have European ancestry. It's called globalization. So the Palestinians are equally as mixed as the Israelis. If you're going to argue the Israelis or the Jews from Europe are mixed, so what? We're all mixed. So it's a ridiculous narrative, and it is racist and prejudicial.
What is the purpose of him bringing that up, though? That's what I'm trying to point out here. He's purposely bringing up race to stoke the racist sentiments of people worldwide against the Jewish people. That's the
Arabs
only
are
reason
mixed.
he brings it up.
He's an Arab, I'm sure.
Quit making sense, Isa. You're trying to apply a sensible, logical argument against somebody that is an anti-Semitic racist pig. And I'm sorry, pigs, for putting you in that same. I'm sorry, but this is what he is. Brad, what were you going to say? I'm sorry, I interrupted you twice, and I should have done that.
No. I'd like to hear more from Isa, but here's the thing. He wants to say that Jews should look like Arabs, I guess. Would that be correct saying, Isa? They
yes,
should look like Arabs?
But they do. That's the crazy thing that he's saying. Jews do look like Arabs.
Now, here's the funny thing that you brought this up. Do you know that because I watch a lot of documentaries, or I listen to them when I'm doing other stuff. It's like all background noise. I found this interesting documentary. Well, actually, it's not a documentary. It's the reading of The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich by William Shatner. Not William Shatner, Schaefer. Okay, it is the actual definitive. I mean, it's a multi-volume work, but you can listen to it and it's pretty good. But anyway, he actually brings up that Mengele, before Dr. Mengele became Dr. Mengele, Dr. Mengele actually did his actual work, 1920s, I believe. Okay, before Nazi Germany, his actual work on what you call facial. What was the big word you used?
Phenotypes.
Phenotypes. Well, his thing is
phenotypes.
actually, his work is still used, okay, as a base research for what do you call it? Forensic pathologists. You know what I mean? The people, when they find the skeletal remains, they have to piece it together to find out what these people are. Well, now that's all gone now with DNA. But I'm just saying, these people. But anyway, his work that he did on skeleton features worldwide on, what is it called again? I'm sorry, I can't pronounce it. Phenotypes. Okay.
Phenotypes.
It's not even considered. Well, his work is not considered, anti-Semitic or racist at this time, but it is still actually used as the base work, the base case studies. Okay, for other people that develop. You go look this up. Dr. Mengele's work on racial types, whatever. But my point being on this, he is making a determination and a decision on what a Jew should look like based on his own worldview or his own presuppositions. And you are very right to point that out, that, dude, everybody breeds with everybody. That's kind of one of the things that our life is about. Okay, we sexually procreate. Right. Right. Well, Slam. Okay, so I read it too in high school, but no, it's not what you read in high school. This is a multi-volume work. I mean, it's like 7 volumes. Okay, but anyway, I don't want to get into it. Go ahead.
Rad. Okay, so I have it here on Audible.
Yeah, Well, I steal stuff, so I got it on YouTube, but go ahead.
It's 57 hours and 11 minutes.
Yeah, it's huge. That's actually, I think that's the abridged version, because no, it's longer than that. It's multi-volume. It's like 7 volumes. It's huge. Okay, but anyway, because he covers everything.
If it's 50, dude, it's 57 hours. That's like a week and a half of solid listening. I'm
still not done with it. I'm into it 3 years, but anyway, that's beside the point. Anyway, my point is this. My point is this on this guy. I have noticed that on the Twitter feeds, okay, because I follow a lot of the pro-Palestinian people, and God, I have to watch. Some of it's funny because it's fake stuff, but a lot of it's not, and they really love. The only thing that seems that Palestinian or pro-Hamas supporters love more than dead Israeli people are dead Palestinian babies, because they love to show that stuff, and I'm just like, oh my God, I'm sick
Yeah,
of watching
I,
this.
I,
Yeah, okay, yeah,
I see the same thing, and it's
yeah,
absolutely, when if you, and here's the problem. A lot of people are, saying that if you're not for a ceasefire, you're for the death and suffering of the Palestinian people, of the people of Gaza, and that anybody that has seen any of those photographs, any of those videos that would be for that would be, well, I'm pro-Israeli, so therefore I want to see the Israelis cause all this destruction. Would have to have some type of sicko. Would be some type of sicko. If you don't have your basic humanity, and this is what they're doing, and I understand what the Hamasholes are trying to do. They're appealing to people's humanity. Who would not, after seeing little children and people torn to pieces by combat in warfare in these bombings, who would
totally.
not want to see that stop? But here's the problem: if it does not, if it stops now, it's going to continue at a much larger
Exactly,
later. And this is what
exactly.
people cannot get past. They cannot. They don't. And they're continuing to appeal to people's sympathies, which they have my sympathy. I mean, I'm not some cold-hearted, let's say them all died and let God sort it out type of. I'm not like that at all. I have a lot of sympathy for these people, but this is not the fault of the Israelis or the IDF. The responsibility for all of these deaths, for all of this damage that is done, is you can lay it squarely at the feet of the Hamasholes. These are the guys that decided to violate, like, the 10th ceasefire agreement that they had with the Israelis, went in there and slaughtered more Israelis in one day since the Holocaust. For 7 years, Jews had not been killed at that rate. And one day they managed to pull it off. Way to go. And even that's in the 67 war, the 73 war, all of the wars leading up to it, even the War of Independence. They did not have that many
Oh,
people killed in one day. And then what do? They run back into Gaza and hide in flipping holes underneath all of these people and say, don't shoot at us. We need a ceasefire. Screw you guys. You're
there's a
getting
there,
everything that you deserve, and the people
Uh,
around you need to hold you. These Hamasholes need to be held accountable. Rad, where's
I
that?
want
oh
to.
no, no,
Do you
go
mind?
ahead,
Do you
Issa,
mind
go.
if I say something? The thing is, I pray for peace in the Middle East. That's my prayer. I think that we should care about the Israelis and the Palestinians, that they can live in peace and that these wars can end. I think that that would be a prayer that everyone wants. And it is a very difficult situation. It's just like 9/11, what happened, Vietnam War. We have these very difficult situations. What wh- what do you do in these difficult situations? And it's not easy. And I think people are just like, look at this terror. Um, it has to end. And it does have to end, but there has to be a means for it to end. You have to have some kind of negotiation that will be followed, that will lead to this. You can't just expect magically that it's going to manifest, because first of all, the Israelis are extremely traumatized by what happened. They're not just going to just say, hey, this is just going to be okay. There's a lot of trauma here. So there has to be a real solutions-based situation for everyone to say, "Hey, I'm going to accept this." The Hamas people who did the attack have to be turned in. Like, this is the way that we have to move forward. And it's a tragedy, and the loss of life is horrendous and horrible. And for me, I want it to end. So yeah,
Who doesn't want it to end, though? I mean,
I
that's
think all of us want it to end. That's
everybody
yeah.
wants it to
Dude,
end. But you can.
I don't.
Everybody wants it to end, but it just cannot end because one side, not both sides, one side has sworn to continue to attack the other. That's why it can't end. It has to. The only way that it can end is if Israel's army is to go in there and so decimate the Hamasholes and so turn the narrative on its head that this is all the fault of the Hamasholes. Get these video clips of where they went in there and they slaughtered, maimed, and savagely brutalized the Israeli people. Get the clips where they're going in and they're savagely and brutalizing their own people by starving to death, stealing their food, and stealing all of their supply and causing this abject misery for the people. That's the only way to do it. And it's unfortunate. What, Rad? You were going to say something. I interrupted you again.
I was going to say, dude, I remember when you shared that with me on October 7th, the morning of October 7th, I believe. Okay. You shared that with me, and I was like, oh, not again. You know what I mean? We don't want this stuff. You know what I mean? And I read more and more, and it's more and more information. Because at first it was like, okay, wow. They actually, the only thing that came out was that they attacked. They breached the borders and they attacked the military bases. Right? You remember that when it first started? I remember I told you, I'm like, damn, Hamas stepped up their game, man, and they came in with paragliders and stuff. I'm like, Israel, no, they stepped up their game. And then you read more and more about it. And I'm like, who wants this, dude? Nobody wants this. This is a horrible thing. It's like I interact with some of these people who are allegedly in Gaza. Some of them I don't think they are. I just think they're pretending to be. But I interact with them. I'm like, dude, they're like, oh my God, I can't find any food. I'm starving. I'm like, you know what? I just went out and here's pictures from the grocery store I'm at. I got plenty of food. You know what I don't have is I don't have a leadership that wants to completely go to war and neglect our well-being and completely go to war with another country that they cannot beat. You know what I mean? Maybe if you got rid of them, maybe you could have this, which I'm going to bring this up as soon as I figure out how to share on the screen. Yeah, so let me share this real quick.
No, I'm sure. No. Let me share this one thing. What are you doing, dude?
Did I kick you out? What?
Yeah.
What?
I just want to share. I want to share the plight of the Palestinian people. Let me.
Well, I got all of it. So bring up yours. Bring up yours again. What? No, you can bring up yours. You can add this to stage. Okay. Are you wait? Yeah, add you back. Yeah, that's all you gotta do.
All right.
Well, that's me.
There. Take that.
All right.
All right. Let's go ahead and play
the video I want to play. I want to play that video.
I know. This is what I was going to play.
All right, but I got another one I wanted to play. But go ahead, play it.
Okay, let's watch it. This is good.
Have no food or medical supply, but you can help, please.
Can you hear that, folks? Can you guys hear that?
Yeah, we can hear it.
Open your heart and make a donation by clicking in the link below. Shukran and God bless you.
It's a lot of money. Wow, people are really taking your heed to donate money. It's a quarter. What? Actually, the sound got muted. Is it playing it for everybody?
It's playing. Yeah.
that we are fighting the plaza. Everything like to eat like a Ramadan retreat. I don't really give a shit, cause I'm hanging in my sweet. Check out, we are dealing here with monsters. The room service wouldn't bring us lobster. So my cafe thought to play with us some people. And turn her to the top. She is another sheep. So
this is like so true, man. Comedy is art. Comedy is truth.
My dog needs more money. Because the sky is black, but Qatar is always sunny. Still knocking on the door. Fuck it. Chili Baba, I just ordered sushi avocado.
Dude, this is so base, man. That's right. Oh, you lost the sound there. It's all about the dollars. In Qatar, it's always sunny.
Cry harder. We need more money.
Cry harder. That's right. Make sure
It's
you
almost
send your money.
unbelievable that people still give these guys any type of legitimacy or credibility. When you start talking about they're billionaires, Yasser Arafat was sitting on like $1.5 billion, and his wife didn't want to give it back after he died, and they had to go. I can't
Yeah,
remember.
she was in Paris after he died. She was in Paris on a multi-million-dollar shopping spree, and they cut off her credit cards. And she literally did an impromptu press conference for outside of an expensive boutique in Paris. As she's trying to shop, she's literally carrying shopping bags full of crap, and she's like, "They're trying to steal the Palestinians' money. Do not let them do this." I mean, no, seriously, these people are so corrupt. And it's not that they're corrupt. Don't get me wrong. A little bit of corruption goes a long way. Okay? Honestly, in the world of politics, corruption is the thing. But you don't do it, and you don't do it to such an extent where you are extremely greedy and you rub it in their face that you're doing it. You know what I mean? Okay. But anyway, so I'm going to add this now. Is it okay, Eric? Is it okay?
Yep, go ahead.
Okay. All right. Okay. So I want you to take a look at this. Let me make this full screen here if I can. Where was I? I wanted to get to this one video that I was scrolling through it and I lost it. Don't mind this. Here we go. Let me make this. Okay. All right, we can mute it. Okay. But this is the open air prison known as Gaza before. Okay. Let me pull it up here so I can see you guys while I play this. Before, okay, October 7th. Why don't you take a look at this? This is a twin city of Tel Aviv. By the way, a lot of you don't know this. I'm sure, well, maybe some of you do, but a lot don't know this. Tel Aviv, the Jews built that city. Tel Aviv did not exist. It's called Tel Aviv for a reason, because it's on an archaeological site, a tell. There was no Tel Aviv before the 1900s. They built the city. Okay? Anyway, let's take a look at this. I mean, this is just, look how beautiful this is. This is the open air prison. Now, don't get me wrong. I would say, yeah, sort of, it is an open air prison because the people can't leave it because nobody wants them because they're all raving lunatics. But that's beside the point. But look at this. That's a commercial harbor. Okay? They had an international airport in like 2007, I believe, or 2004. It was an international airport that accepted international flight. And now look at it. No. Well, that's still a good section, I guess. But no, seriously, think about this now. I want you all to think about this. Think of this as capitalism. Okay? No, not capitalism, but think of this as greed. The Hamas leaders, their billions of dollars is running short. So what do? They launch a raid, okay, on Israel, prompting this response from Israel to completely and totally destroy Gaza, right? You guys listen to me? You follow me?
Yeah.
Have I lost you?
No, I was trying to follow, but I had something going off on my computer. I apologize.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Well, okay. So they completely destroyed Gaza. So now what do you have? Okay, all this foreign aid, this foreign money. After this war is settled, okay, there is still going to be a surviving remnant of Hamas. Whether it's the Hamas big daddies out in Qatar, or whether it's their children or their family or whatever, either way, money is going to pour into Gaza. They are going to rebuild it. And what does
Who's
that
they?
mean?
Who's
Who's
they?
they? Well, that's the thing. The foreign, UNICEF, whatever, America, we're going to pour in billions of dollars. The world governments are going to pour in billions of dollars to rebuild Gaza, which means locally, on the ground, guess what's going to happen? That means the leaders of Hamas, the political elites, or their survivors, or their family, are going to be raking in the dough. They're going to be skimming off the top for the contracts to actually rebuild the buildings, to rebuild the infrastructure. Do you see how this works? It's a perpetual money making scam. That's all they're doing. They're just doing this to enrich themselves, and they'll build it up in another 10, 20 years. They'll destroy it again. That's why I say should be treated like the Romans treated Carthage. Boom. It is done. You are finished. No more for at least a generation. And let it be a lesson. But again, that is just me. I'm just saying. There's another thing I wanted to share real quick. Not a video, but I want you to see how ridiculously kind of stupid these people are, because they're just downright stupid. Where am I? Can I repost mine up? Yeah. No, how do I? Oh, I gotta stop. Oh, you do gotta stop it. No, that's not right.
Yes, you have to stop the old one, and then whatever tab you have open, you have to go to that tab.
All right. Well, we gotta fix that. No, because there's a different way to do it. Okay. Anyway, where was I? See, the problem is because I'm gonna be. That's what I wanted. Ubuntu. Okay. All right. Well, hold on. Oh, it's playing a video. All right, it's playing a video. Okay. Okay. Stop. Okay. Yeah, cancel that. Okay, you can not see that.
What threads do you belong to? Good Lord.
Well, like I said, most of my stuff's political, anti-Joe Biden. You know, that's the gay stuff. That's the
Okay, you're scarring me,
other.
dude.
Oh, this is funny. This is,
I don't no get it up. No.
This is his press conference. This is funny. That's a funny thing. But hold on.
No, get that up. Get that. What is that?
No, I'm looking for a Syrian girl. I can't. My response to a Syrian girl. She did this stupid thing.
Okay, well.
Oh, this one. This is a popular one. Muslims are spreading around. Okay, what if a Native American could talk to an old Arab guy? What would they say? And all the Arabs like, he would tell you to keep resisting, resistance. And I'm like, no. The Native American would say, hey, dumbass, why don't you build a bunch of casinos and make a bunch of money? Okay, you know what I mean? And everybody could benefit. You know what I mean? I mean, these people are just so ridiculously stupid. Okay. Oh yeah, this is another one. This is a good one. They're posting this picture. So supposedly, okay. So this dude here is a medical doctor, and he's carrying an AK-47. He's carrying an AK-47 or some kind of weapon, if it will, and that's him. And they're saying, "Oh my God, they're arresting doctors." Yeah, that's the doctor they're arresting. And I think this is also him in the tunnels. Okay. Oh, here we go. No, this is the thing. I want you to read this. This is Syrian girl. She's I guess she lives in Australia. She's been doxxed and been outed. She lives in Australia. She's from Syria, and she's a complete nutcase lunatic woman. But anyway, and I guess she's under deportation orders, or they're threatening to deport her back to Syria. Which okay, I'm okay with. Anyway, take a look at this. Let me put it this way. Not a single Hamas fighter has surrendered. They're all waiting in tunnels. Listen to this. Listen to this. Let me make it bigger. Here we go. They're all waiting in tunnels, and Israel refuses to go inside the tunnels. Notice, not a single hostage was surrendered with them. Every single man you see Israelis stripping at gunpoint is a civilian. So this dumb girl is bragging that the Palestinians are waiting in the tunnels and for them, while their civilians are being forced to be stripped naked and surrender above ground, and they won't come out and fight the Israelis man to man. But she is saying that the Israelis are cowards because they won't go in the tunnels. Do you see how stupid that is? It's like, are you kidding me? Anyway, yeah.
Well, the Hamas fighters are nothing but cowards. That's to call them a fighter is misplacing the term. They're hiders, is what they are. They're cowards that are cowering in these tunnels right now, hiding from real soldiers who have sworn an oath to protect the citizens of their countries. These guys are not protecting the citizens of their country. They're using the citizens of their country to protect themselves. That's what they are. They're not fighters. If they were fighters, they would be popping out of the tunnels and let's go. You know, if you're a fighter, let's see you fight. It doesn't look like you're fighting. It looks like you're hiding, and it looks like you've been hiding for a long time.
And they steal all the food.
When people go back, when we come back and we look at this, and people are going to be able to have a rational opinion on how this Israeli operation was conducted, they are going to realize how many criminal acts Hamas has committed in the course of the past 70 days, 90 days, or however long this takes, however long this is going to take. Beginning with October 7th, the criminal acts of murder, rape, genocide. I mean, this is basically what they're trying to do. They were trying to ethnically cleanse the Jews from those kibbutzes in southern Israel. That's what they're trying to do. And when they go in there and they examine the videotape of what these guys did, and then they're going to examine how these guys continue to fight and how these people use their own civilians, women, and children to protect their sorry asses while they're cowering in fear in these tunnels of the IDF for what they did. People, history's got a way of correcting these type of things. It's just going to have to take a moment to do it. I got an article here. Let me show you this article here.
All right, wait. Before you share, let me just go over this one. I want you to understand how stupid these people are. Okay. This one, this video I'm showing right now. Well, I'm just going to read it to you real quickly here. Okay.
Just show it.
What? Okay.
Show it.
All right. Well, hold on. Let me find it here. Hold on. Let me pull it up. Okay. Oh, it's in Arabic. Yeah, it's in Arabic. So, okay. So basically, the caption is: Israeli soldiers grabbed me, cut off my leg, and threw me into the road. Now, think about that. Okay. They just grabbed this old man, cut off his leg, and then threw him in the road, and somehow he survived.
And we're supposed to believe that.
Right. So no, do you understand what needs to be done to cut off a human being's leg? It's not like a chicken. that's been like cooked for hours, okay? All right? You need like a bone saw or a hatchet or a hacksaw. Not that I have any experience in cutting off human beings' legs, but I'm just saying I watch enough movies to know that this is how this is done, okay? This is not some, oh, hey, there's an old guy. Let's pull him off the side of the road. Let's chop his leg off and let's throw him in the ditch. And somehow he's going to survive. Do you see what I'm saying? I mean, they're just making up this crap that, I mean, it's like, are you really this stupid to believe this stuff? But anyway, go ahead, read your article. I guess shows
So
your
it's not an article. It's just this is a Twitter post is all it is. Majority of Americans 18 to 24 think Israel should be ended and given to Hamas. I don't know how how, and this is the thing, how do you begin a conversation with people in that age group that are devoid of any type of historical context of why, number one, why does Israel exist today to begin with? I'm guessing the majority of them have no chronological idea that Israel was a direct result of the catastrophe in Europe during World War II, which is the Holocaust. They have no idea that 9 out of 10 Jewish children, because the Jews had nowhere to flee to, 9 out of 10 Jewish children in Europe died. We've all heard about this selection process, this god-awful selection process that Jews had to go to just as soon as they entered these death camps, Auschwitz, Treblinka, Sobibor, all of the Kielma, all these places where they were being gassed. When they were selected, the people that were selected for death were children. Why? Because children, you have to have food, you have to feed them. You have to have a place to house them. They're not going to work. They don't have any ability to work because they're children. So the people that survived were the adults, and they had to watch their children go to these gas chambers. And so this horror of World War II, this is what the young generation doesn't understand. They do not know the horrors of the Holocaust. They do not. I teach it in my class every year. We have an entire 2.5 week block dedicated alone to the Holocaust. When I was teaching not an expository course, what do they call those? Exploratory. There we go. Exploratory course. The entire course was dedicated. The whole 9 weeks was dedicated to reading 2 books: Eli Wiesel's Night and then Daniel's Story. And then in conjunction with that, what are we doing here? I'm too big. And in conjunction with that, we would have all kinds of different articles that we would read, and a lot of it dealt with developing the reading ability and using evidence to formulate ideas and make assertions. Anyway, but we would use the Holocaust and all these things that came along with the Holocaust as part of that course. Teachers need to focus on what happened to prevent idiots like these children here, 18 to 24, I shouldn't call them children, they're young adults, to have that type of opinion. There was one guy that I saw in the thread there, he opined that, well, maybe we should raise the voting limit to at least 25 then. And I take a constitutional amendment. I don't, that's never going to happen. But the fact of the matter is that when you have that many people, when you have a majority of a voting bloc, 18 to 24, saying that Hamas ought to be taking control of the river to the sea, there's a problem. Because if Hamas ever gets a hold of power within and commands an army that has the ability and authority to do that, do you think for a second, does anybody here, even in the chat, does anybody think for a second that they are going to respect the individual rights and liberties of the Jews? Do you think for a second that the Jews will not be slaughtered wholesale? Do you think that they will be able to?
Absolutely not.
Yeah. There's no way. This is what their religion teaches them. I was just watching another clip today, and the guy was just saying in passing, in the end, even the rocks and the trees are going to cry out, and they're going to be on our side when we go to kill the Jews. And it wasn't even about the. I don't even know what it was. It wasn't even about the. This.
Even the imam from
They talk
Houston.
about it all the time. What's that?
Even the imam from Houston, with C.L. Edwards, actually said, "You better believe when that happens in the trees and rocks, called, I'm gonna beat her with my gun. And I'm gonna be shooting at the Jews." Yeah. I mean, no, he's. I mean,
They said that.
Yeah, he said that. Yeah.
Is that what the 9 in your behind thing was, or
no? That was actually no. I think that was no. Yeah, no, that was. He said, "What you all think I'm gonna pull? We're gonna, Muslims are gonna pull out our 9 and just start capping Jews." No. That's at the end times. You better believe when. Yeah, no, that's what that is. That's what that's about. I'll have to find that original clip. But yeah. No, but here's the thing. Issa left. I don't know. Did I make him mad? I don't know. But either way, Issa left. Okay. Here's the thing. Notice what they are saying in this 18 to 26-year-olds. Okay. Yeah, nearly 9 out of 10. Oh no. Okay. Well, I thought you were gonna pull that up. 9 out of 10 innocent Palestinian civilians are angered at the West's support for Israel. I don't really care, dude. No, they need to be angry at Hamas. Hamas did this to them. But that's beside the point. But no, all these, see, this is what nobody is really, actually, a few people are understanding it. These youngins, okay, these 18 to 25-year-olds that are coming out and saying this, okay, regarding Israel, what you just quoted, I am sorry. Well, you are kind of right in a little bit, Dr. Smith. But you're missing a greater point. What they are being taught is that this is colonialism.
Yeah.
Issa brought up this is colonialism. This is Western imperial and colonialism, and that is bad, and that must be fought, and that must be destroyed. So if we destroy and end European colonialism, which is also capitalism, they actually believe Israel is the last of the Western colonial states, okay? And if they could destroy that, that's the domino effect. They actually believe that. That's when Western colonialism starts to end, and imperialism starts to end, and American empire starts to end. And that's what they believe. If they can destroy Israel, then everything else in their socialist, Marxist, utopian dream will come true. The United States will be destroyed. Europe will fall. Okay, everything will fall, and then they will have this utopian dream where you will own nothing, you will eat bugs, and you will be happy. They actually say that.
Let's pretend that their dream comes true and Israel ceases to exist.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just pretend.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, what happens to the Jews that are in Israel today? Number one, I think that's really there's no, that they're going to be slaughtered. I mean, there's just no getting around it. That's just the way it's going to be. Number two, the sponsors of Hamas and Hezbollah, Iran, where do you think that their focus is going to turn once they get done with Israel? Does anybody think for a second that that this visceral hatred that they have for the West is going to stop in Israel? I mean, it's crazy to think that. I mean, it makes zero sense. Their focus is going to turn towards dominating because, oh, look what we got, and you know this is coming. We got rid of the little Satan. Look at us. Look how great we are. And oh, by the way, now there's nobody there to check us on our nukes. As soon as we get nukes, we're going to do what we want with them. They're going to terrorize Western Europe, Western and Eastern Europe with those nukes, and also smuggle one into the United States and light it off, somewhere in Kafiristan. I don't know. But do people honestly think that, number one, I just showed you the numbers. None of these Palestinians want a two-state solution.
No, but that's the thing. That ship has sailed.
What's that?
That ship has sailed. the myth of the two-state solution, that ship has sailed. In order to have a two-state solution, you need an honest partner on the other side. There are no honest partners on the other side.
Right. You're absolutely right. They don't have that. They don't. Number two, they think that the only way to go forward, it just showed that a large percentage, over 70% of them, think the only way forward was that over 70%. 70% said that Western declarations in support of the two-state solution are not serious. Most Palestinians are opposed to a two-state solution themselves. The poll found that with 34% in favor of a two-state solution. Let me put this up here. I don't. Yeah, here it is.
And this is in the West Bank. This is in the West Bank, right?
Yes. Let's see. And these are supposed to be the sane ones. This is Fatah. Yeah. 34% favor a two-state solution, while that's 2/3 oppose it, 1/3 approves it. And then a strong 2/3, 63%, said an armed struggle is the best way forward to end occupation and establish an independent state, an increase of 10 percentage points to 3 months ago. So if you think for a second, that allowing to stopping the ceasefire and to allowing Israel to now again to continue to have to deal with these Hamasholes after what happened in Gaza over the past 2 months, that is not a way forward. There's no way forward with Hamas in power.
Well,
there cannot possibly be a solution with these people. They have to be destroyed. It's like the Nazis. There was no negotiating with Hitler. They had to be destroyed. They had to be completely destroyed. Germany had to be Nazified. And this is what has to happen in the West, or not in the West Bank, in Gaza. They have to be de-Hamasholicides, or however you want it, whatever term you want to. I think I'm going to write that down. De-Hamasholicides.
No, it's no D. Well, let's make it simple. De-Hamas. De-Hamas.
Yes. Anyway.
Anyway, but no. So,
we're to be on the title of the show in the coming weeks.
But see, this is where Israel is making a mistake. And dude, okay, Israel is in trouble here. If Israel does not destroy Hamas, okay, and take care of its goal of actually destroying Hamas, Israel is in serious trouble. This is a serious thing that people are not kind of realizing. This is very serious. They're in trouble. Now, again, okay, as stated, okay, you know, if Israel is overrun, okay, Jews, not all Jews will be exterminated. A lot will get out before the getting gets done. But on their way out, this is Israel's nuclear doctrine. On their way out, they're going to nuke the whole thing. That is supposedly, allegedly, their nuclear doctrine. In other words, fine, you idiots want it, we're going to nuke it, and we don't care. We'll come back in 50,000 years. You know what I mean? They will seriously nuke the entire region. If they are being overrun, Israel, that is their nuclear doctrine. That is their mad assured destruction doctrine, okay? Now, whether they do it or not, I am in favor of them doing it if it comes to that scenario. Just nuke the whole thing and come back in 50,000 years. Either way, it's fine, okay? Because they're patient people. I'm just saying. And let the Arabs have this radioactive paradise. They call the road.
I got a clip here. Let me show you. This is what. Wait, where'd it go? No, that's not it. Here it is. Okay, this is what happens when the Hamasholes fire missiles at Jerusalem. Let me present this.
Oh, this is the one where Al-Aqsa?
Right, yep, here it is. Look at Al-Aqsa, going to Al-Aqsa. You have the Iron Dome protecting Al-Aqsa.
Again, Israel, mistake. Do not do this. The Israelis, they just actually keep making mistakes in this. I'm sorry. And that one looked like it was coming for them.
لا إله إلا الله. هي كمان واحد. هي.
Oh, that one looked like it was probably going to hit him.
الله أكبر ولله الحمد. الله أكبر ولله الحمد. الله أكبر.
These fools are actually saying Allah is protecting us from the Hamas missiles. No, it was the Jews, you fools.
How long do you think the Israelis are going to have to deal with this? I mean, when you're okay, now here's a scenario that, you know, when we start looking at eschatology and how the Jew, because, you know, it talks about in the Hamas. That's a good one. Look at that, is dehamasified. That, let me write that one down. Dehamasify. Okay, what I was getting at was how long before one of these missiles gets through and destroys Alaska. I mean, if you think of what the name of this offensive by the Hamasholes was something Alaska wave or Alaska something. I don't know. They always use Alaska as, you know, this rallying thing. It's kind of like the Alamo, you know, for the Texans during the Texas Revolution. Remember the Alamo. Now it's remember Alaska. Well, if these guys, like, let's say Hezbollah's got like 150,000 rockets. Okay, if they decided to shoot all of those rockets off at Israel at the same time, it would overwhelm the Iron Dome. But all of those rockets are not; these are not precision guided munitions like the Israelis have, folks. These things are, you just fire and hope it lands someplace where it's going to have an impact on the populace. One of these missiles is going to get through, and it's going to destroy Alaska and or the Dome of the Rock if a barrage that big comes. What would then keep the Jews from saying, look, it was your own people who destroyed your mosque, destroyed your own Dome of the Rock. It's ours now, and we're going to build our temple.
Only God.
They would have the absolute right. I think they have the absolute right to do it now, because if you look at historically, theologically, all of these things, Muslims have no claim to the Temple Mount. They have this idea that Muhammad somehow rode, you know, this Pegasus horse, the Brock, you know, in the middle of the night to Alaska is baloney. It's just farce, is what it is. It says the furthest mosque. It doesn't even name the mosque. It just says the furthest mosque. So to say that they have even any type of legitimate claim, whether it's theological or historical, is absolutely absurd. They don't have a claim to it. So if Israel wanted to take it back, rebuild their third temple, I don't see a problem with it historically, legally, most certainly legally, because if you're going to sit here and destroy what you have there on site by firing illegally into the country, then, you know.
But see, here's the problem with that scenario, Eric. Well, God Himself would prevent it unless it is the time for that to happen. But here's the main problem with that. Other than that, is that if Hamas and Hezbollah actually did do that, the Jews would still be blamed for it. They would say the Jews really did it to blow it up because we have super secret Allah missiles that only know to strike Jews. No, seriously, and our bullets only strike Jews. Yeah.
You know, Rad, let me say this. You know how they're always saying the Jews are conniving and they're always trying to.
The Jews should do that. Yeah.
If I was a Jew, I would actually do it. If I was a Jew, I would actually do that. I'd say, we lost all these rockets at us, and just look at this huge explosion. Just make it be like that rocket that went off in the parking lot at that hospital. Look what they did. We did. What do you mean you don't believe it?
No, seriously. The rockets are really simple. Any high school shop kid can make one. I could make one.
Not the ones at Hezbollah. Not the ones at Hezbollah. The ones that Hezbollah are the real deal. And a lot of them,
well, either way, you could capture them. Yeah, you could capture them, have them fired off. You know, I mean, no, it could happen. And then the Iron Dome just happens to go down at that precise time, as protecting that specific.
It was a glitch.
It was a glitch. Whoops. Actually, I don't think the Iron Dome should be protecting Al-Aqsa Mosque area. I think it should be. Well, I don't think you probably can't get it down to that level.
That's all right there. I mean, you have the Western Wall. You have just down the road, down the hillside. you have Hezekiah's tunnel, you have the
Yeah.
Holy Sepulchre. I mean, you have all three faiths right there. You have to protect it. You just can't.
Well, yeah, okay. But anyway, no. So Israel is making serious mistakes here. One of the mistakes I think they're making is that they're only showing this alleged, well, I shouldn't say alleged, this 47-minute video of some of the actual real up close. I mean, we're seeing clips, we're seeing different things, but this video actually has where the Hamasians, God bless you, you only get one before I start, COVIDing you, and we're gonna quarantine you. I'm just saying. But anyway, but no, they're only showing this 47-minute video to the elites. They're only the elites. Only the elites can say it. And I'm sorry for me, because I hate the elites, because they just want to, make us all eat bugs and own nothing, and we will be happy. I don't like them, so I don't trust them at all. But I'm just saying they need to they just need to dump this video, get an agreement with Elon Musk where he will show it on Twitter. And if you want to see it, go and watch it. I personally don't, but at least it's out there where everyone can see it. You know what I mean? But they're not doing that. So that is a mistake. So they're losing on that end. And dude, and the fact that those Israeli soldiers shot the hostages. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm all for killing the hostages in Call of Duty. Okay? Because then you eliminate that bargaining chip. Okay? Right away. But no, that was kind of wrong. I'm just saying. And those soldiers definitely should be punished for that. But anyway, no, they're just kind of making just these little mistakes on the propaganda level. And the propaganda war is the one they need to win, and they just keep making mistakes after mistake after mistake.
The one thing that I saw this
Good,
week,
good.
the one thing that I saw this week that was, and the Israeli government even came out and prefaced this, says that there's going to be a video that's going to be coming out that's going to be shocking, and it's going to anger Muslim sensibilities. And when it finally came out, it was Israeli soldiers in a mosque singing songs to Adonai and not Allah.
No, that doesn't anger me.
Well, okay, but here's what I'm thinking behind this. Okay, why are they in that mosque to begin with? That question is not going to be asked. That question will not be asked by our media because they're complacent with the Hamasholes themselves. The reason why they were in that mosque to begin with is because there were tunnels underneath that mosque and there were weapons that they had found in the mosque itself. So they were going in there making a mockery out of the mosque that the Muslims had made a mockery of. They had made a mockery of it because if you're going to tell the world that mosques are off limits to warfare, they are sanctuaries for people to go to in times of war. That's great. I'm all for that. Same thing with churches, same thing with synagogues. I'm all for that. But like in Iraq, if you're going to be shooting at us from the mosque, and you get some scunion brought in on your ass because you're shooting at us, even though you're in a mosque, don't get all upset. Do not get all butthurt. So when these Israeli soldiers, and I would agree, this is kind of like the American soldiers urinating on that Afghani that had been shooting at them and had wounded somebody in their platoon. That was a little over the top. But when you get into the heat like that, and you let your passions overwhelm you like they did these Israeli, because you got to remember these Israeli soldiers have been at it now for 2 months now, and it they
need a break.
To be going at it, okay, and they don't have like the depth in which they can go in there, rotate people in and out. These guys are in it for the long haul. But anyway, this is the shock that the Israeli government said that was coming out. We can't, this is going to, shock the sensibilities of the Muslim world. And I don't think I think the Muslim world has enough discernment to tell that this mosque that they evidently were in singing these songs had already been desecrated, but it had not been desecrated by the Israelis. It had been desecrated by the Hamasholes themselves by using a house of worship as a means to wage war. But then again, if I'm not mistaken, there's people in the chat. I'm going to ask for your input here. Is there not hadith literature out there that says that you can use a mosque as a means to wage warfare from? If I'm not mistaken, there is something where they're allowed to do that, and if somebody could find that for me and post that, I would appreciate that, because I'm almost certain that if I've read something or heard somebody talk about that where mosque can be used. Anyway,
well,
I have another clip. Go ahead.
Just real quick. Sorry, Issa. Definitely want to hear from you. But real quick on this. Okay, look, I don't have a problem if Muslims use a mosque, okay, as a firing position. But don't sit there and say we cannot fire on that position. I have no problem with Christians using a church for a firing position, okay? All right? But we're not going to sit there and say you can't fire on the church because it's a church. We blew up Monte Cassino, okay? We leveled it to the ground, okay, in Italy, okay? No, okay, see what I'm saying is, dude, okay, again, I am not a war fighter. I do not have Eric's experience.
You want to talk about Monte Cassino?
Yeah.
Is that they found out that the Germans were not using Monte Cassino.
No, that's it.
I mean, if you look at it, I mean, you had the American allies sitting down in the valley, and they're looking up at this huge abbey sitting up in this hillside, and they're like, "Ah, Germans are up there. We know they're up there." And it turns out the Germans weren't there.
They weren't there. They weren't there until we leveled it, and then they used it as a position because of all the rubble. They could hide the cover of it. Oh, it was a total Allied blunder mistake. But either way, my point being is this: yes, you can. Okay, again, not a war fighter, never been in combat, not an experienced person, but just thinking of this logically. Yes, you can use a school, okay, as a firing position if that is all you have. But you can't sit there and say, I'm hiding in the school. You cannot bomb the school, when the children are there. In other words, and to be honest with you, this stuff that they're talking about Hamas, where the Israelis are bombing the schools, there's no kid in these schools. The kids aren't going to school. They've all been evacuated. You know what I mean? Okay. But either way, bottom line is this, okay? All right? Got no problem with this. The problem that I have, okay, with Israel firing from the mosque, or even the videos where you see Israelis mistreating the Hamasians, okay? All right? Don't freaking film it! Don't publish it, idiots! I am sorry. Israel needs to get better control of its troops and say, if you film your crap, your stupidity, you will be prosecuted and you will spend a long time in prison, okay? Don't want to see it. Don't want to hear about it. Knock this crap off. Do you see what I'm saying? They need to crack down on that.
Do you think that
they're not doing that? Huh?
Those people that they captured, the Israelis, the people that they captured on October 7th, do you think that those people are ever going to get out of prison?
Well, no, those people should not even be in prison. They should just be dead. But no, what I'm talking about is the Israelis. The Israelis, because they're also, I'm seeing stuff online. They're filming stupid stuff, like you said. They're pissing on, the dead Palestinians, the Hamashians. They're beating them up. Yeah, I've seen a few of those videos. Yeah, they're beating them up. They're taking pictures, posing next to the dead Hamasian soldiers. And I'm like, okay, fine. Take that, put that in your personal album, and publish it 20 years from now. But don't post it online, dumbass. And I am sorry. They are losing the propaganda war by doing this, and they should not allow this, okay? And that's what I'm saying. I mean, they're making mistakes here. And, well, you can sit there and say, yeah, it's a heat battle, it's this. But as a command level, okay, fine. You want to take wars trophies? You want to photograph yourself next to a dead body? Okay, have at it. Do not publish that crap. Do not show the world that stuff, okay? Keep that secret for at least 10, 20 years, and then you could show it.
Well, there was
You know what I
there
mean?
there was policies where against social media because of that they had to come up with policies prohibiting soldiers from doing that, making it a punishable offense under the UCMJ for doing that kind of stuff. So
No, they should be.
yeah, and I agree. That's just if you're going to take out your anger, if somebody's shooting at you and you're seeing people
Somebody shoot at me, I want them dead.
Screaming because of pain, you're going to want to visit some scunion on their asses. I get that. And there are, anyway, if you're going to photograph it, if you're going to video, you need to keep it to yourself. I agree. Now, there's always this.
Wait. One thing on this. Hold on. Let me finish this. One thing. There are like you can read testimonies of World War I vets. Okay, actually see videos of the World War I testifying, where they did not treat the dead German corpses too pleasantly. Actually, there's one that sticks out in my mind. They had this German that came over the top and came into their trench line, and they killed him dead, and they buried him, but they allowed his hand to stick out of the ground. Okay, so whenever they went over the top, they would shake his hand for good luck. No,
okay,
seriously. I mean, you get all this stuff.
Okay, that is always cited for justification for fighting the infidel, fighting the Christian armies, fighting the Jewish armies, and it's this one right here, the Crusades. Now, if you are not a follower or subscriber to Bob the Builder YouTube channel, you need to get over there and do it. Bob the Builder has a lot of great material where he engages people at Speaker's Corner, and he does a really good job of defending the faith there. This one I noticed this week because I go to his channel quite often. This one he did a great job of doing that. So here it is.
Crusades were launched after 7 centuries of constant Islamic aggression. Before the very first crusade in 1095, Muslims had invaded Christian Syria, Christian Jordan, Christian Palestine, Christian Egypt, Christian Algeria, Christian Libya, Christian Morocco, Christian Portugal, Christian Spain, Christian France, Christian Sicily, Christian Turkey, Christian Armenia, Christian Italy, all before the First Crusade. The Crusades are a legitimate response to Islamic aggression and Islamic violence. I don't need to hear any lectures about the Crusades from people who support Islamic colonialism, Islamic imperialism, Islamic dominion, and Arabization.
About the Crusades.
The Crusades.
So Bob is really effective. I'm hearing feedback. Is this me? Bob is does a really good job of engaging Muslims at Speaker's Corner, and that is one of the most often used arguments against Christianity. Is look, you Christians waged the Crusades against us Muslims. Okay, and they're right. That there was a lot of atrocities that were committed by Christians, but when we think about the Christians that did that, there's not one example of Christ that would compel a Christian to act out that way against another human being. Whereas we could go to all kinds of examples of Muhammad, what he did and had his followers do that would allow them to brutalize and ethnically cleanse people from their land. So I thought that was a really good clip. I don't know how much longer you guys go today.
Do you mind if I ask a quick question about this? Just a quick question.
We had an entire 2 shows on the Crusades, you and I, Isa.
I know. I'm
right.
usually very, very busy, but I'm actually present here. Like sometimes I'm doing like 20 billion things, so you'll have to excuse me. It's just my question is, can we argue that colonialism and imperialism is just bad in general? Doesn't matter what religion does it. Like, I think that's the
No.
problem. Like, he kind of justifies that colonialism is good. I'm like, you made a great argument, I think, against what he was saying, where he said there is no evidence of Jesus promoting colonialism. These are people who are calling themselves Christians in the name of colonialism, and I just don't think it's right. I mean, I think if you're going to spread a faith, you should, do good acts, like go serve the unhoused, and then people are like, wow, you're such an amazing person, I want to do whatever you're doing. Like, I think that's the way that you can bring people to your faith. Be a good human.
Well, you said you're talking two different things here. So spreading the faith, okay. So yeah, spreading the faith. Christianity spreads under persecution. Okay, this has been proven. Actually, another great series I highly suggest you fall asleep to and listen to is it's called The History of Rome. I'll share it. It's actually by a guy who wrote the book The Storm Before the Storm. Okay, but he does this whole blog thing back in the day. But he takes you up until about the 4th century AD of Rome. I'll share it later for you all to listen to. It's a great series. But anyway, no. Okay, so Isa, so you're actually coming from the position that those who support Hamas are saying. Okay, they view that there's no longer done. It's what? No, okay.
Hold on. There we go. I'm sorry, I forgot.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. It's 2023. We do not colonize anymore. It's no longer.
Right.
Well, hold on. I got a question. All right. So, do you believe, Isa? Do you believe that Israel was colonized by Europeans?
I don't take that position. No.
Well, that is the position. That is the position. All those hundreds of thousands of people that are marching in the streets in multiple cities all over the world are taking. End decolonization. This is what decolonization looks like. Okay, that is their mantra. Okay, imperialism, capitalism.
I don't think they have a solution. Look, I think people are in pain. They saw what's happening in Gaza. It's really traumatic, and people are operating from a place of pain. They're not operating from a place of rationality. If you're operating from a place of rationality, we must be solutions-based. You either have a two-state solution or a unified one-state solution.
It shows you that one side doesn't want a two-state solution.
Well, some people don't. I think a lot of people want peace and they want their home.
2/3 of them do not want a two-state solution. Video clip after video clip after video clip where they're raising their children to hate Jews from the time that they can barely speak. They have training camps where we send our kids to vacation Bible school. They send their kids to training camps, teaching them how to shoot weapons, how to build bombs, how to employ rockets.
But I don't think it's all Palestinians. That's just some.
Your own U.S. Army trained people they did to Muslim countries.
Yeah, I am Wesley currently.
No.
I think
okay, wait. We're talking over. Wait, everybody's talking over everybody. Okay, let me just say. Let me just say. Hold on. Let me just say, Eric. I wish I had that kind of education growing up, but that's beside the point. Anyway, if I could just really quickly end this with Isa, your question: can we agree that colonialism, imperialism, and empire is wrong? No, yes. I totally disagree with that. I totally disagree with that because colonialism brought Western values. It brought Western education.
I don't think there's a West. I don't think Greece and Britain have anything in common. I do think we have.
No, Rome and Greece. No, it brought this fundamental things. But anyway, we have somebody, Wesley.
We can
we'll definitely. I do want to discuss that with you. But anyway, who's this Wesley dude?
I don't know. He seems like a neat guy. Hey, Wesley, it's good to see you.
Hi.
What do you want?
Let me listen first and see what you're all talking about. I don't want to play Nyanya.
Well, that's interesting. But anyway, so no, my position on this is simple. Okay, when you have the majority of the people that you see out in the street, they don't even know where Israel is. Most of them don't. Okay, they don't know what Hamas believes. They don't know what Islam believes. I mean, you got queers for Palestine and queers, LGBTQ trans people. These people would be killed. They have been killed in Hamasistan. and Fatah land. Okay? No, these people, they don't care. The only thing they see is that Israel is the colonization. Israel is the imperialization. Israel is the empire. And it is one of the last colonies of Western European colonization and empire. And if it can be destroyed, that means that's the linchpin. They actually believe this, that the rest of the West, the capitalist West, can be destroyed, and they can usher in their, utopia of where you will own nothing, according to Charles Schwab, okay, and you will be happy, according to Charles Schwab at the latest GMO conference or whatever it's called, and you will definitely eat bugs. But they're not going to eat bugs. No, because
Have you ever tried it? Have you ever tried bugs, Rad?
Yeah, when my dad was training me when I was in the 4th grade, we ate worms and we ate crickets and stuff.
I mean,
yeah, no, I would rather have a juicy, tasty steak and lamb chops and pork chops and steak.
I had somebody ask me that. They go, "Well, have you ever ate bugs before? How do you know they're not good?"
Yeah, because no, they're actually worms are pretty good. Well, anything's good if you dip it in chocolate and deep fry it in bacon fat. Anything is good. I'm just saying. But no.
Okay. Marshall, are you
It's
talking?
Oh, my bad. I'm talking to my boss. Yeah. I gotta ask. Yeah. I got a question for you. So, so when the U.S. invaded the Native American land and took 95% of our country, and 95% of it killed our people.
Our.
My people.
Your people? You
Yeah.
related to the Indian reservation?
I'm related to Black Elk. Crazy Horse would be my second cousin, times 6 generation.
Okay.
Are you a member of the tribe? I mean, do you have official tribal membership?
I have black eyes. I have Black Elk's eyes. What else you need?
Okay, but you can't go onto the reservation and say, collect my casino money.
No,
I can go. I can go to Stand and Walk, and all the elders come up and salute me, shake my hand.
What's your
But
point?
do you get the casino money, dude?
No, we don't have no casino. We have no casino out there. We're one of the poorest reservations in all America. We're the one. You can see me on there standing in front of a bulldozer. In front of the bulldozer, only one standing there with the heart to stand there, so they couldn't knock over. Yeah, when they're putting in the oil pipeline. But I got a question for you. You think that was just? And I got a question for you. You say Article 5-2 is any treaty signed is the highest level to the law of the Supreme Court overriding any state law. That means any treaty signed should be Supreme Court. All of our treaties signed should be held up. So you guys need to get off 85% of our land under the Constitution.
Well, I think we should
Yeah,
give
that's
all
not
of
gonna.
Rad, hold on. Here's what we should do. All of the land in the United States, to include the Kafir Castle right here in Kafiristan, we should all just give all of our possessions back to the Native Americans, and everybody will be happy then. Am I right?
Well, how would you feel if I came? How would you feel if I came and put a little teepee in your front yard, and then 2 months later, 5 or 6 teepees show up, then later 10 teepees show up, then later I'm taking your garden, then later I'm taking your garage, then later I'm taking your house, and then I put you in a concentration camp? How would you feel?
Wait,
You're better off learning how to speak Chinese.
As long as we are able to put, because there's a guy down the road that has a porta potty business. As long as they put that in the driveway and they come in and they empty it every day, I wouldn't have a problem.
So don't you teach the Constitution? How come the U.S. government don't follow Article 5-2 then? And they want to spread democracy around the world?
5-2 you're referring to? What you're referring to something?
Article 5-2 states any treaty signed, any treaty signed is the highest level to the law to the Supreme Court, right over state laws. That means all treaties signed by Native Americans should be.
Constitution. You're referring to the Constitution.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let me look at what the Article 5. What did you say? Article 5.
I believe it's Article 5-2. Look at what it says. Where any treaty signed is highest level to the law, federal law, overriding state law. That means to the Supreme Court. It's over.
Article 5 of the Constitution.
I believe it's -2, if I'm correct. Maybe -3. It's in my lecture. United States are the guilty of war crimes and crimes against the guilty of war crimes and crimes against humanity. Book coming soon.
Article 5.
Leave us -2.
Article 5 of the Constitution deals with the amending process. It has nothing to do with treaties.
Hold on, let me find it. Actually, I might have messed up. But I will go ahead. I will go ahead and I will email to you the dash. It says any treaty signed is highest level to the law overriding any treaty.
About Article 4. You're talking about Article 4.
Article 4, okay.
Section 1.
Because you teach the Constitution. You teach the Constitution. So I just had a question. Why is that? Why do you guys follow some part of the Constitution, not all of it? And how come the Constitution says all men are so-called equal? How come it took to 1965 for even the black man to have civil rights?
Because we had a bunch
What kind of game you guys playing?
We had a bunch of racist pigs in our country.
Well, then these are the people who wrote the Constitution, and you're talking your forefathers are racist then. You just trapped yourself.
Racism was actually the norm at that time. It wasn't just the United States.
So you're teaching in your classroom a racist system created by racist people, created to a constitution they don't follow, that you brought Muslims all over the world to follow.
We can talk about the racism of your prophet.
I'm not talking about my prophet. I'm talking about your own country that you served 32 years on and did war crimes around the world and probably served in. That's what I'm talking about.
Marshall, I'm going to mute you. Okay, if you want to talk about racism, we can go all the way back to, I told you, in the 1700s, the 18th century, in the 19th century, even up into the 20th century. Racism was a socially accepted practice.
So the forefathers who wrote the Constitution are racist.
Marshall, I'm muting you.
Do you mind if I say one thing? I think
I'm going to finish this. I'm going to finish this point. Okay, the point is that racism was indeed a socially accepted practice in our country all the way up to about 1950, where it was codified in a lot of laws, where racism wasn't. We've heard of the Jim Crow era, separate but equal. All of these things were accepted. Now that does not mean that I have to agree with that practice. I don't agree with that practice. It's 2023. Nobody practices that in 2023. If you do, you are marginalized. This is the type of stereotypical biases that you see people trying to project onto others, trying to shut down the conversation. I am not going to allow somebody to come in here and say, you're a racist if you think that this is wrong, or you think that the founding fathers, if you don't think the founding fathers were racist, well, then you're just as racist. Shut your mouth. What you're trying to do is you're trying to, it's called modernism. You're trying to apply modern societal norms and cultural accepted practices to the 17th and 18th century. And you can't do that in order to study and understand history correctly. If you look at history, let me finish that. If you look at history, and if you look at every culture, every society, every race on this planet has practiced slavery in one way, shape, form, or another. You look at Marshall saying, oh, I'm a Native American. Oh, you're Native Americans. You shouldn't have done. Shut your pie hole. The Native Americans engaged in slavery just as much as the colonialists or the colonists that came over here and enslaved people and brought slaves over. As a matter of fact, one of the most famous Native Americans that we teach in our in our American history, Sacagawea, you know what she was? Oh my God, she was a slave. She was taken as a slave by the Mandan Indian tribe and sold to Charbonneau, a French trapper, to be his wife. Oh my God. We're talking about two completely separate time periods in which you're trying to do is you're trying to gin up these sophomoric little arguments that you learned in prison, thinking that people outside of prison don't have an education. We do. And you sound like a moron for saying it. Ed, go. Sorry.
Yeah, I just want to also point out that when we were growing as a country and we were actually buying slaves, who were we buying slaves from?
Muslim church slave.
The Muslims. Now,
the Mali, was the Manasa Musa was the richest man in the history of the world before Bezos and Steve Jobs took that job. Or who's the other nuthead? Bill Gates took that. He was the richest man because he engaged in the slave trade.
Right. Now, who is still selling slaves to this day? Muslims.
Yeah.
They're still capturing slaves and selling them still today. By the way, slavery was outlawed in the United States a long time ago, but it's not
1850.
outlawed in Saudi Arabia. Why is that? Anybody?
Because it's the Sunnah. This is what Muhammad did. Never wants to take. Notice how quickly he ran away from that.
Yeah.
You don't talk about the
Yeah.
Sunnah of my prophet. Why do you include him? Because you can, if you're following his Sunnah, if you're following his example, you can engage in the slave trade. And
He's
guess
a
what?
kid.
Up to 1970,
He's
engage
a
in the slave
kid.
trade. What's that?
I said he's a kid.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a clue about his own religion, and if he does, he's showing to us he's a bald-faced liar.
Well, he's definitely have some. What's the word? I want to be kind here because we're trying to get along with Marshall. We're turning over a new leaf.
He doesn't care about that.
Well, you're probably right, but I'm trying to do the right Christian thing here by
he's a good Muslim.
More understanding of him.
Good Muslims don't do that.
What was I going to say?
We're trying to be nice to
he-
Muslims. Please be respectful. Just
Sure thing.
Well, get over it. You're not
upset.
Muslim is the child of Satan. Islam is all satanic worship. That's it.
Why did what okay? What has caused you to arrive at that conclusion, Wes?
Frog.
Call you Wes or Wesley? Do I got to call you Wesley or Wes? Can I call you Wes?
Either way. Call me. I like them. My name is Wesley.
Okay. What caused you to come to that conclusion?
Allah is the best of deceivers. I mean, come on.
Look, Satan wrote the Quran in this way. He paralyzed a man named Muhammad and pulled a fire down from heaven and put into Muhammad's head over many different days and nights words that Muhammad thought were God speaking. Jesus loosened Satan several times upon you, and Satan said in your head, I will turn and toss you violently like a ball. And that would have been on October 10, 2005. And Satan said, don't tell the vision. And that would have been on March 31st in the year 2020. The way that Satan did that to you is the way Satan did the Quran to Muhammad. That's my proof.
Okay. Free naturalist, this guy right here made the comment, let the native brother on. We did let the native brother on. And I was trying to make a point and he was talking over the host, so I muted him. Just as soon as I muted him, he left. I didn't kick him from the room. He chose to leave. And then Isa opined, what was this? I can't believe I just heard what? What was that?
What Wesley just said, it was a little intense for me personally.
Why? What was wrong? What was wrong with what I said? What do you disagree with what I said?
No, not what you said. I said what Wesley said something, and it was very heavy duty. That's what I was referring to. Yeah, I was like, wow, it was like a Mack truck that came in.
When Satan said, don't tell the vision, out of his mouth came an unclean spirit like a frog. That frog is a black, dead frog head that has two fangs on its throat and a barcode branded on its forehead. And that frog head is Allah. There has never been any other Allah. That frog head spirit that you perhaps saw in a moment's time is the God of Islam.
As a matter of fact, if you look at the Greek manuscripts of the 666,
it has no power. It has no authority. It can't even speak, and it's blind and it's deaf.
Let Ed address what you said because he has a very interesting point that he's going to make. I know where he's going with this.
Yeah. If you
Satan
look
relies on your imagination and your hatred against Jesus in order to get you to work for him.
If you look at the Greek manuscripts of what the 666 is derived from,
The Omni.
you will see those exact letters on the marquees at the Grand Mosque in Mecca. You will see that on the clock face.
Ed, I got a question. When are we going to get this slideshow from you? That's
It's coming, man. I'm
mark of
working
the
on it. As a
beast
matter of
is
fact, some of the
it will be
slideshow
a
is already.
branded barcode on the foreheads or right-hand wrists. It will be called the Omni. And the Muslim Emirate will provide out of its oil bank money trillions of dollars. To get the money, you have to be branded with the Omni, the one world order, the mark of the beast, the mark of the 10.
Now,
Omni.
the mark of the beast
And
on the
you'll
forehead
get
is
every
the
person will be
Zabida.
tempted
this is we're not doing eschatology here, guys.
$32,523 will be offered to everybody on Earth to receive the Omni mark.
Okay. Free
Yeah.
Nationalist made this comment here. Where
I've
did it
seen
go?
this in visions from Jesus.
He's saying that according to Islam, there is only one God
Satan
without
doesn't want you to tell him.
Christianity seems to have three different people as one being, which makes no sense. And and that's cool. What I want you to do, Free Naturalist, could you please go ahead and type in chat when we say God is spirit? Can you please list what the ontological properties of a spirit are when you make this assertion that you cannot have three persons in one essence?
Well, here's the other question that I have.
I want to do here was
And we should listen
Isa.
to and Serpico too, right? The
What?
native. We should listen to the native.
Yeah,
and
Serpico. Yeah, and
he's been
Serpico's
in
been
here,
waiting.
so he's
Yeah.
If it doesn't make sense, the only question I have is why do we call a vehicle or a something that's built out of 10,000 parts? Why do we call it a car? Why don't we call it by all of its parts? If it doesn't make any sense.
He doesn't have a response to that, and I'm certain he's not going to reply with a
Yeah, you see, it's their logic is stupid.
Yeah. Okay, that's one way to. Oh my. Okay, Isa. Let's get back to Isa. Isa was upset because Wesley had described what?
We got and Serpico's been waiting.
Well, that's fine. That's fine. I can wait. I was.
Let's Serpico. We'll get back to Isa. I'm going to make a note here because I want to get back to Isa. Go ahead, Serpico.
All right. Yeah, I kind of
This is the second time you've been on the show. Am I right?
Yeah, this is second time I think.
Yeah. Welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for having me. I might have stepped in it by saying I'm Native American. It was a setup for what's the guy's name now? I forgot. Joe Sean, the Muslim that was just going on a rant. Tyrant.
Marshall Gregory.
Marshall, right.
Musa even something. I can't remember what he calls himself, but yeah, Marshall Gregory. Yep.
Yeah, I said
Marshall for years.
Honestly,
even Aisha.
I'm not Native American, so to speak, but I did date a Native American. My first love was Native American. Does that qualify?
You're getting close. I don't know if you can get.
Sure. At this point, why not? At this point, why not? We're throwing out all the rules. Native American for you. Everybody's a Native American. Just go at it. You got no tribal affiliation. You can't get the casino money, but it doesn't matter. You're 1/8 of a 1/3 of a 1/4. You know someone. You're a Native American. Everybody's a Native American.
Yeah.
Why? The frick not. I'm just saying. Go ahead, dude.
Yeah.
What do you got for us?
Yeah, well, honestly, technically, I am a native. I'm a native of Europe. I'm Native European, so that qualifies me as a native. And I have a solution. So I think a solution that he would like. I think everyone should leave the New World and go back to where they came from. Like the Africans should go back to Africa. The Europeans should go back to Europe. The Aztecs, the Mexicans should go back to Mexico, on and on until all the original tribes have their land back. And then we can take it a step further and do the cultural appropriations thing where they can stop speaking in English and they can stop wearing clothes and they can stop using Western technology and everything like that. and go back to throwing spears and hunting buffalo. And,
I like this
killing each
guy.
other.
See,
Right.
no, seriously. I see these beautiful African women on in front of Congress saying, you know, you're cultural appropriation. And I'm like, listen, lady, you're wearing clothes right now. So quit culturally appropriating clothing, okay? I'm just saying. But no, this whole thing, the whole thing of whose land, dude, let me put it to you this way. And I'm sorry Marshall left, but I know he's listening. Marshall, if you want to claim you're Native American, you're 1/6 of an eighth, and so-and-so's your great cousin of an uncle 3 times removed, I don't care. Here's the bottom line. You can go look up Dogatha, okay, which was the prophet to Tecumseh, or was it Hiawatha? And Hiawatha, Tecumseh. Either way,
Tecumseh's who led the Indian Confederation during the War of 1812.
right. His spiritual teacher was Dogatha.
Was his brother.
Brother and his spiritual thing. They were all cannibals. And by cannibals, I don't mean they ate sacrament, you know, on a religious thing. They killed their enemy and they ate their heart kind of a deal. No, they actually hunted humans for food. Okay? This is documented. It's actually in it's in their spiritual prayer to Dogatha. I'm mispronouncing the name, but you can go look it up. Anyway, the Aztecs were cannibals. They actually hunted humans for food. They were all cannibals. The Mayans were cannibals. As a matter of fact, the first interaction between Westerns and Mayas, the Mayas reported, we saw these people come on a great ship and they got off and we were thinking of killing them and then eating them for dinner. No, I'm not making this up. This was primitive, Stone Age man. They did not even have the wheel. They didn't. Oh, I am sorry that you idolize these people. Okay? They did not even have the wheel. They didn't. Oh, I'm echoing. Whoa.
That's Wesley.
We're getting too much feedback from
Okay.
that.
But either way, okay, no, my bottom line is this. We brought them the wheel. We brought them the horse. We brought them the frying pan. We told them that, you know, eating your own fellow brothers and sisters is not a good thing. Okay? We did, no, seriously. No, don't get me wrong. Guess what? My ancestors, 10,000 years before we encountered the Native American ancestors, were also cannibals. My Native European ancestors, you know what they did? They actually, when the chieftain died, they killed the slaves and put the slaves in the boat and burned it alive. You know what I mean? No, we all have these horrible backgrounds of what we were, but this is not what we are now. Yeah. The land that you claim is mine or yours. No, do you know whose land it is? The land is whoever can buy it. The land is whoever can control it. That is whose land it is.
Okay,
I'm tired of hearing this.
Okay, Brad, I'm going to address what this free guy just posted in chat. Your guest is being ridiculous. Stick to the topic about your book that condones slavery. I would simply ask you to pick
Slavery's
up
a good thing. Go ahead.
Stop. I would ask you to literally pick up a Bible, free naturalist. Pick up a Bible and turn to the book of Philemon and read that. This was Philemon. If you're not if you are not familiar with the New Testament, which I find most Muslims that come here, like yourself, and post the things that you have, and Ed's called you out, rightly so, by talking about how some of your comments about the Trinity are elementary type school arguments against the Trinity. They're silly. But pick up and read about Philemon. Philemon was a slaveholder, and slavery in the ancient Near East was a common practice. Everybody practiced, not everybody, every culture practiced slavery. Not everybody owned slaves. And Philemon had a slave that had escaped, and this slave Onesimus was providing Paul, who was in Rome at this time that he sent this letter, care. And Onesius had escaped slavery from Philemon. So Paul writes to Philemon and tells Philemon to take Onesius back, not as a slave, but as a brother in Christ. If you had any idea of what Christianity teaches, you would not make a silly comment like I have posted here on the screen. It makes you look like a fool, and I'm sorry for saying a fool, but it's a. Let me just restate that. It's a very foolish comment, and it displays your abject ignorance of Christianity itself and what the Bible does talk about when it speaks of slavery. And then if we were to turn around and juxtapose that slavery as far as what the Bible says is permissible and what is not to Islam, you would never be able to defend it. You would always want to turn around and run to the Bible and take it out of context once again. You and your ilk cannot defend what your prophet did and what your scriptures say. And what you have to do is you have to come into venues like this. And I don't mind you coming in here and opining. Notice nobody has muted you. Nobody has told you to shut up. None of this has happened. But we have addressed you and addressed your points in the chat. And when you make comments like this, it just shows how abject and how lost you truly are. This is what Islam does to people's brains. Wesley was talking earlier about Islam is this, Muhammad was satanically inspired. I don't know if he was satanically inspired, but I do believe in demons. I do believe that demons do exist on this earth. And I do believe that based on what we find within the Quran, with what we find within the Hadith literature, there was some demon influencing going on there. And I'm sorry, Isa, that was what I was going to address with you, was that I do believe that Muhammad was influenced by a demon. I honestly, I don't know if it was Satan himself or what it was. But if you think about what Islam teaches, it teaches that Jesus Christ lived a perfect life. Jesus Christ did many miracles. Jesus Christ was born of a virgin. Jesus Christ was the Messiah, the Jewish Messiah. It teaches all these wonderful things about Jesus Christ. And it holds him in such high esteem and such high regard, and saying, look, he's one of the greatest prophets, which I think is blasphemy. But the very one thing that saves our soul, the very one thing that saves us from our sins, which is his death on a cross, they deny. The one thing, and the Muslims say, oh, this is just a minor point. No. This is the major point. The major point, the very one thing that Jesus Christ did to save us from eternity and damnation, so we can have a forgiveness for our sins, they deny. That, I believe, is satanic.
I would say Ahmadiyya would disagree with that. They do believe that Jesus was crucified, but he survived the crucifixion and went to Kashmir. So just saying that is an alternative narrative.
If you talk to Chris Claus, I think I saw Chris in here. Is that Chris? No, that's who's cross-examining scripture. Is that Kufar phobia? Who is that?
Larry.
Who?
I just find it
Larry.
Interesting that a group.
Oh, that's Larry. I'm sorry, Larry. Okay. But anyway, okay. So what happened here? Oh, Brad. Sorry. So let's see. What were we talking about? We only have like 7 minutes left.
Can I push back real quick? One more thing. A little pushback on Rad's comment about nobody's like that anymore, and to continue responding to Marshall there. I would even take it a step further and say that the Muslims that have encroached on European lands now, that have come in there by the historical numbers these past few years, should evacuate and then just go back, I guess, to Mecca. Just pile them in there in Mecca, one on top of the other, like maybe 100 high, I think that's the kind of Muslim party they'd probably like.
Jesus is going to destroy Mecca the
Yeah.
day he
There you
calls
go.
all the mark of the beast. He'll say, "I do not know you. I will be put to stand at Mecca, and it will be turned into dust. 10,000 Taliban are going to fall at my feet. The revenge is Jesus. The only thing I'm going to have there is the words that I failed Jesus, not believing in his forgiveness. He showed me a foot that didn't bleed, that got cut off. I haven't really gotten involved like palm trees with orange red in the bottom leaves. I used my reason like a black fashionable shoe on a foot cut off. That is the weapon Jesus gives to me, and I will walk away from destroyed Mecca unharmed with the children."
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, just to comment to respond to Serpico. Yeah, the Great Reset. No, seriously, like everybody resets. But no, how are you going to divide it? How are you going to do this, especially with DNA? My sister ruined my criminal career because she sent her DNA into 23andMe so I can never go on my crime spree again. Thanks a lot, sis. I'm just saying. But no, seriously, so we found out a bunch of stuff. Yes, I'm a white dude that's, 47% Ashkenazi Jew. We knew this, okay? Sorry. But she was all disappointed. I'm not even 1/8 of a quarter of a third of an eighth of a Native American. I'm like, no, you knew this, okay? What the hell? Anyway, point being is this. But how are you going to divide up all these people? Okay, what are you going to cut off a pinky and a toe?
Yeah,
To get to,
exactly.
you know what I'm saying? No, dude, we migrate. We. Oh my God, this whole thing. It just really pisses.
We're very mixed. We are mixed. That's a very fair point.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
And
I
as
said,
you,
dude, whoever owns the land is the one that either paid for it or can control it. Okay. You know what? In America, there is still free land out there. You can actually go out and get free land. No, you can. And I'm not talking squatting, taking over somebody else's land. I'm talking you can actually go up into Alaska. You can go into Wyoming. They have it in Utah. Okay, Nevada. Okay, you can go out. You can stake your claim, and it's free land. But yeah, you ain't got no water. I'm just saying. Okay, then good luck with you. But no, there's no, dude.
yeah. Sorry.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say you've already mentioned this, but I just want to reiterate how Muslims still to this day practice slavery and some sex cannibalism, even, and all these horrible things. So,
well, we played that clip earlier about the Crusades and how that's always thrown in everybody's faces. Yeah. But what is never talked about is, again, what Bob talked about was Islamic colonialism. Islam went out within 100 years, and you got to think about it, how rapid, how fast this was. Islam, or people who claim to be Muslims, I wouldn't say Islam, the practice itself, because there's no evidence for that within the first 40 years anyway, 30 years, burst out of the Arabian Peninsula, sweeps through North Africa, goes all the way across the Straits of Gibraltar into Spain, all the way up to just south of France. And this is 732. Muhammad died in 632. It had reached that far within 100 years. And at the same time, going eastward, within 100 years, it had gone through the Sassanid Empire. It had gone into the Hindu Kush, which is the mountain range there. It had pushed that far eastward. It did not spread fighting in defensive wars. It spread by the sword. And it imposed Islam upon everybody that it came in contact with. To read some of the stories, if you read some of the stories that come out of the Hindi traditions and what Muslims did, because with Christians, Muslims can make you a dhimmi. They can spare your life as long as you pay the jizya. If you agree to the jizya and you pay the jizya, your life is spared. You can still practice your religion, albeit as a second-class citizen, and go through all that nonsense, but you get to live. Where the Hindus, no, you either converted or you died. They killed millions of them. When you look at the hundreds of millions of Hindus that were killed because of Islam, there is no comparison. So to come on here and start quipping about, well, the colonial powers came to the Americas and killed 95% of the Native Americans. This is true. Well, they didn't kill 95%. 95% of the Native Americans ended up dying because the majority of them died because of diseases and diseases that the Europeans carried. But they never want to talk about the details. They always want to claim, well, they were racist, and you're going to claim that the founding fathers were racist. And to say, to say that is so ridiculously small. And what I mean by small is your intellectual ability to analyze history as it was 250 years ago, and compare that to what it is today, and then trying to make moral judgments on that is absolutely absurd. And I'll say one more thing. Let me say one more thing about that. The one thing that they'll come back with and say, well, think about, well, you guys are always complaining about Muhammad and Aisha. Muhammad was 53, Aisha was 9, she was prepubescent, he consummated. You guys say that's pedophilia. That's indeed. There is no culture on this planet, in the history of this planet, that I'm aware of anyway. And they can send me the information or whatever, erictheckefer@gmail.com. You can go ahead and send me the information if you can find it. But there is no culture that has ever existed on this planet where it has been culturally acceptable for a 53-year-old man to marry a prepubescent 9-year-old little girl. If there is a culture that was acceptable in and was widely practiced, please, by all means, prove me wrong. And I'll come on here and I'll present it on the very next show that we do.
Well, it's not just okay. Well, hold on, let me pull this up. It's not just that it was okay. Let's say fine. Wait, hold on. Let's say fine. There are instances where this is culturally acceptable. No, the problem is Muhammad made it culturally acceptable for any culture in any time, in any day and age, and anywhere in the world. He set the standard. This is now holla from Allah, anytime, any culture, any place in the world. And that is the problem. But I did want to address one more thing. But now I forgot. Okay. So you got to play the close. Thank you all for joining us. I think it was a robust, good conversation. Like I said, Eric, best show ever.
This was an argument. We're saying we're going into this blind. We don't even have a topic. We're just going to play clips, and we're going to.
We got new friends. We got new people join.
Yeah, we had a lot of good conversation today. Everybody that's been on the panel, Ed, Serpico, Wesley, thank you guys for coming. I know you guys. Well, Ed's normally here. Serpico, second time. Wesley, first time. Glad you came. Everybody in chat. Again, I appreciate you guys so much.
We had 27 people watching at one time. We got 2 likes. I'm sorry. You got to it. Like the show.
If you don't get to subscribe to the channel, losers. We need you to subscribe. All right.
Stealing from us. You're stealing from us if you don't like.
Isa has.
I met Noah. I gave him a plum.
Isa has.
He can interpret every language known to mankind, and I've been given the dove. I didn't want the job.
Okay, Isa, what?
If Isa is Jewish, he knows what I'm talking about. If you all aren't Jewish, it will sound like nonsense to you.
Okay. God bless everybody. Thank you for coming. And where did I do with my cold clothes? The cold clothes. The cold clothes. God bless everybody. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Not next week, or the week after. Look for updates and shows. God bless.
Yeah. Surprise.
Advanced student and specialist, that the standard narrative has holes. That's what
That the Muslims were rioting against one another. And as much as we don't want to face the fact, the Muslims were lying sometimes. They were fabricating, they were embellishing, and that might be hard to accept, but that is a reality.